Hi, my name is Gina B. I am an alcoholic. I'm from Sacramento. Hello, everybody. I have a propensity to speak very swiftly. I'm sorry in advance to the interpreter. I'll try to keep it down to a low roar so that it's not quite so bad. I saw everybody interacting, at the beginning of the meeting, and it was really nice to hear people welcoming those newcomers and people who haven't been around or maybe returning. Welcome. If this is your first time to an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting, welcome to Alcoholics Anonymous. This may not be the only cure for alcohol. This may not be the only thing that will help you with your alcoholism, but this is definitely the thing that worked for me. And if you're here, I'm going to talk about the solution that Alcoholics Anonymous offered me. There's a lot of other places that have different solutions, and they will talk about their solutions wherever they are. What I do want to say is that this is also my opinion of Alcoholics Anonymous. I am not a spokesperson for Alcoholics Anonymous. What I am is a person who had a problem with alcohol and controlling my drinking. And I came to Alcoholics Anonymous, and what you did is you guys gave me alcoholism. And then you showed me how to treat that disease just a day at a time. So I am just another alcoholic. I am not the spokesperson. The program of Alcoholics Anonymous is contained in the book Alcoholics Anonymous. We call it the big book. I will forget very important things tonight that I think you should have known that would probably have saved you all. So I just wanted you to know that in advance too. The biggest thing is that for me to have woken up this morning and to have not picked up a drink and to have walked through my day and been happy about it is a miracle. And I got that miracle through Alcoholics Anonymous. Like Juliet said, I am oldie pa. Just give you the stats real quick. So started drinking at 7, finally stopped at 17. I started going to meetings at 14, kind of stopped the first time at 16 and then had a relapse. It wasn't relapse. I chose to drink again when I was 17 for the last time and have been sober since. I'm 50 now. I have 32 years sober. Have I been the epitome of spirituality and essence of ode to AA? No. Have I walked through my days and not drank that entire time? Yes. See, what I found was after looking at lots of people coming and going in Alcoholics Anonymous is that it's a lot harder to come into Alcoholics Anonymous, choose to drink and want to get back here than it is to just come here, be really miserable for just a little while, but give yourself a chance and stay. I don't know what every story is going to be. That's just something that I've seen. And so far, I have not had to take a drink. I haven't taken a drink yet. And it's because of a power greater than myself. Now, I know some people, they do the pitch and they do the first step and the second step. I'm a little more disjointed than that. The thing that Alcoholics Anonymous did for me is first of all, and most of the stuff that I'm going to tell you is not anything that's original or that I came up with on my own. It's all been handed down and given to me by someone else. The idiosms, the Alcoholics Anonymous isms, the storytelling, the sayings, all of those things I got because I sat around here and I paid attention long enough to get them from somebody else. So when I got here, what you guys did is you guys gave me alcoholism. See, because when I got here, I was a dope fiend and I was a rebellion and I was this and I was that and I was a lot of other things, but I wasn't an alcoholic because alcoholics weren't cool. As a matter of fact, alcoholics were those guys because they were always a guy for some reason, totally sexism of me. But alcoholics were guys that got really drunk, watched football, and then beat their wives or girlfriends when their team lost. That's because that's what I saw in my life. That's what happened. That's what I got to live when I was growing up. And so every 30 days, they'd spin dry this guy my mom was, hanging out with, and he'd come back talking about, I'm going to be your dad. And this time I'm going to show up for you. And I'd be, oh God, here it is again, with the frothy emotional appeal of the alcoholic. So when it was my turn to get a seat here, I was like, I'm totally not an alcoholic because I am nothing like that guy. He is slime sleazeball. I had my own set of issues. Trust me. You don't get to Alcoholics Anonymous at 14 when you don't have issues. So I came in here. So I was trying to be everything else but an alcoholic. But what someone did is finally I started to read and comprehend the stuff, and they took me through the book, and we got to the space where it was like, hey, this is the doctor's opinion of, what we are. And I said, oh yeah, that's totally me. And so I didn't know it was called identifying. I didn't realize that, oh my God, this book was written back in 1930. What the hell? And it still pertains today. I didn't get the weight of that. But what I understood is, all right, they might know what they're talking about a little bit. I'm down with that. And plus, there were some really cool cats in the meetings that were still super sick and trying to be cool. And that's what I was trying to be. I was still trying to be a dope fiend and cool. And I just didn't get it because I was also 17 and I was just so foggy. And it took me a solid year in Alcoholics Anonymous. That's like coming to meetings, not really working the steps or anything, but doing the fellowship type of thing. They said, my first sponsor was Gina. This is Jim. Jim, this is Gina. Gina, Jim's going to be your sponsor. And I was like, okay. I didn't do anything, but it took me about a year of that type of, skirting around the edge of Alcoholics Anonymous to finally figure out that, oh shit, I'm like getting sober. I was like, oh, okay. So this is what I'm doing here. And so I started to take it more seriously. And there was graduation and move and geographic. And I ended up in a little town up in the foothills out here in California. And in our fellowship, they started up a young people's meeting and on a Sunday. And I was the young people because I was the youngest by 25, 30 years. And they said, okay, Gina, you're the young people and you're going to be the secretary of the young people and you're going to get the young people and you're going to be the young people be. And so they were talking like, okay, so now we're going to do 12-step work. And that's the one thing they really did awesome up there is they did 12-step work. I went into I went on a couple 12-step couples. One, we go up there and there's an alcoholic and he's living with a heroin addict, and the heroin addict, he's passed out pukey and on the couch, and the drunk, and we walk in and the drunk guy's like standing up on the table, like just pissing on the couch. And it was just really crazy. But that was the type of 12-step calls we went on up there when you actually went to someone's house and were like, hey, dude, you need a meeting? Cool, let's put you in the back of the truck and we'll give you a ride down the hill to a meeting. But so I started, 12-step calls. Say, hey, listen, you want to go to Changing Echoes? That was like the only recovery house out there. So we'd go out to Changing Echoes, and so-and-so was doing a meeting over in such and such. And so we drive the 10, 15, 20 minutes up the hill to either Pine Grove, Pioneer, whatever. And we'd show up, we do that stuff. And they'd say, oh, and there's a picnic and there's a this. Why don't you come here? And I'd be like, of course, I'm too cool. I'm cool. I don't need to. They're like, oh, great. Bring potato salad. And I'm like, what the hell? These people don't listen, Same thing too. I'd be like, okay, we're going to go swimming. And I'm like so embarrassed. And I've got body dysmorphia. And I don't want to talk to anybody, much less get in a bathing suit at summertime. And they're like, let's go swimming. And I'm like, no, that's cool. I got to work later on. I'm like, well, Greg's coming. He's coming back down the hill at that exact time. Greg will help you. And I'm like, no, I don't have a bathing suit. Donya's got one, right? I'm like, what is with these people? It was a hell of a lot of shut up and get in the car. It was a lot of, I don't care what you're doing right now, but shut up and get in the car. You're not drinking. You're not out there running around with the people you used to run around with. So just shut up and get in the car and like pick up your butt, put it in the chair, and like your mind and everything else is going to start following. And so they did that great. And I had a great opportunity to like jumpstart the fellowship that I had with those people in Alcoholics Anonymous. They gave me that sense of belonging that I had been dying for. Because before I got here, I felt so isolated and alone. And every breath I took felt like it was hard to breathe. It was hard to breathe. I felt like someone was pushing up my chest. Fast forward, I get to stay here because I start putting in the work. Around year 4, I wanted to blow my head off because I wasn't doing the steps. I was like stark raving sober. I was about as sane as cat in a bag, and I wasn't doing the steps, and I was nuts. So I finally started doing the steps, and I had this relief that I can't even tell you how amazing it was. I was just like, I can do this. And that's what it started feeling like every day. I could totally do this. And not only can I do this, but I want to do this. And I got to keep doing that because you guys showed me how to develop a relationship with a power greater than myself. I use a lot of different words interchangeably with it. The book uses about 1 billion of them in there too. I say the universe the most of the time, but HP, God, higher power. And I didn't think I was going to have a higher power that actually came into my life and like helped in any way. I knew there was the God that sat up on high, looked down, had judgment. It was like, hell, you there in the green shirt, hell for you. Okay, next. Or just sat up there and did nothing is kind of the way I thought about it. My family, they had an organized religion. And what I saw a lot of was when it served them well. When it served them, I heard about the religion, when it served them. But I didn't see it day in and day out. And what Alcoholics Anonymous showed me was this is the house of God right here in Alcoholics Anonymous. And so I always hear a lot of people say, thank God for AA. And I really do believe in turn that around and say, thank AA for God, because I don't know how I would have gotten, or if I would have gotten my relationship with my higher power, had it not been for Alcoholics Anonymous, two guys getting together and saying, hey, let's come up with something for all these downtrodden schmucks to get God. Let's come up with something for these guys. And that's me. That's who they were talking about. So what I did was I got to stay here and I got to start to get to do stuff. There's so many things I've gotten here. I've gotten to show up for my grandmother emotionally. I can't say that I was the best because I can't. Sometimes I'm a jerk. There's so many things that even sober, I'm like, ugh, I want to do over cards sometimes because I know I could do so much better because I know God has given me so much better so many times. I've been of service in the general population, Alcoholics Anonymous. I've been in service in young people's in Alcoholics Anonymous. I've had opportunities to read. I've had opportunities to show up at parties or not parties or conferences or not conferences. I've had opportunities to go to H&I stuff, to show up in institutions. I've had opportunities, my God, the heart-wrenching stories of doing hospitals and institutions work where you, for those of you who don't understand, where you take a meeting to people who can't get out when they're institutionalized for whatever reason, whether that's jail or county, federal, what state, whatever, whether it's just juvie, whether it's a house of some sort. At the stories of some of these people, I mean, I think just when I thought I was raised by wolves, and then I hear somebody else's story and I'm like, nope, never mind. And we do recover, and we get here. So I've been given this thing. And the reason I get to keep it is because I have a continued reverence for the program of Alcoholics Anonymous. I have a continued, genuine desire to do and be better. I have continued frequent contact with other alcoholics. In the book, it talks about, I paraphrase all this stuff. I'm not going to get it. I'm like senile by this time, 32 years sober, if I can still quote shit. It says that we make frequently so that we can find others that are like us, so we can carry this message to those people who need this message. That's why we're getting together, so we can have a spot for someone to come. If you think you might have a problem with alcohol, we think we might have a solution for you. And it starts here in Alcoholics Anonymous. I want to say happy birthday to those people that are having milestones, to the people that are celebrating the days, the people who are coming back, to those people that are just more long-term, that have like years. I can't imagine. It's like I look at some people when they say, I've got 90 days, and I'm like, oh my God, how did you do that? 90 days is hard. 3 days is hard, and it's doable one day at a time. Juliet, you're amazing. I love you. I thank you for asking me to come out and be of service tonight. Thank you. I love you. Thank you all. Thank you so much. I love AA. Yay, go team.